Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Process. I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable in this week's episode because I feel like I need to share this story. And I don't really know how I'm going to start it. I'm just going to dive in and we're going to see what happens because that is what we do. I am feeling a little bit under the weather. So if my voice sounds a little bit lower or croakier than normal, apologies, but that's just where we're at today. And I technically already recorded an episode for this week, but I just feel really called to share this story right now. And so I'm going to do it because why not? So, something that I have been working through over the past couple of weeks is a story in my life that I have become aware of and that I have realized is holding a hell of a lot of power over my decisions. This story goes back as far as I can remember. Honestly, I would have been under 10 for sure when this story started. And it has to do with the idea of being a girl. And what I mean by that is that I grew up really having this strong belief that I wasn't good at being a girl. I'm not good at my hair. I'm not good at makeup. I'm not good at clothing. Anything that has to do with what I perceived to be feminine I wasn't good at. My hair is always worn the exact same way, as you can see from the last 30 episodes. Maybe it's in a ponytail sometimes, but even then, I used to be so self conscious of having my hair up that I would wash my hair every single day to make sure that I could wear it in its natural form, which is straight. And I would do my makeup when I was younger all the time, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I always felt like I was bad at it. I would say that all the time, constantly. I just had this running narrative of, I'm bad at being a girl. I'm bad at being a girl. I'm not good at being a girl. I don't know how to do this stuff. I'm horrible at this. Like, there's so much meat to this story for me. And I think with my hair, I can kind of get by because my hair is okay as it is. And with makeup, I don't wear makeup anymore. So that's been, I mean, I think I've developed a new story around that, which I'm going to get into. But then there's also this piece of my clothing and the clothes that I choose to wear and how much of my identity has been wrapped up in this story. And since I have become aware of it in the last couple of weeks, I have not been able to stop thinking about it because, of course, the reticular activating system that I have spoken about before on this podcast is so powerful that when you prime your brain to notice something and when you bring it into your conscious awareness, you are going to start seeing it everywhere. And so that has been, for me, something that I've just become so hyper fixated on since becoming really aware of how much this story is impacting the way that I show up. So I've always felt not great about the clothes that I wear. I generally just wear leggings and a shirt or a pair of jeans. Even right now, I only have one pair of jeans. And I was going to say, I do have three pairs of jeans actually. One's too big and two are too small. So I wear the ones that are too big, but they don't look good on me. But that's the problem that I have had is that I don't think that I'm good at picking out clothes. So then when I do, it's like I've created this self-fulfilling prophecy where I pick out clothes that don't fit me properly and then I get home and I don't like them, so then I don't wear them and then I've just got all this clothing in my closet that I don't like. And I'm not someone that spends a lot of money on clothes because of this problem. So it's not like I'm overspending, going out all the time and buying more stuff. It's an effort for me to go and do any sort of shopping. I've always hated it. And I think, again, this all comes back to the same thing of what's sitting underneath it, which I'm going to talk about. But I don't go out and buy stuff very often. So a lot of my clothing is 5, some even 10 years old. A couple of the shirts that I have, one I just threw out because I was like, I cannot put that on my body anymore. Why am I still wearing this thing? But that whole process for me was this deep, deep hatred, dislike for shopping because I felt like every time I went, It never worked out, and I'd always buy the wrong things. And this all ties back in, right? All these words that I'm saying, this is what I always said to myself. I'm not good at this. I suck at buying clothes. I suck at picking out the right things. I don't know how to put an outfit together. And all of that would then prime my brain to look for evidence to confirm that. So then, of course, I'm buying clothes that don't really fit me, and I'm not buying things that I can easily put together as pieces to make a nice outfit. And so I never really feel put together in a nice way. And I also have really just allowed myself to basically say, you know what? I actually don't care about clothing. This is another piece of the story. This is the part where I really am like, whoa, I have created this whole identity around this of I don't actually care about what I wear. That's not who I am. I'm more interested in what's inside. And, I'm a deeper person because I don't get caught up in this superficial stuff. And people who are really into what they wear and how they do their hair and makeup, they are types of people that are more superficial and shallow. This was a story that I created to keep my brain safe from having to face this deep fear of being incompetent, of being rejected, of being made fun of all these negative emotions that came with the idea of putting in effort to how I dress and then it not working out. Buying an outfit that I thought looked really good and then putting it on and having someone go, "Oh, that doesn't look good. You can't go out in that." And I have had people say that to me in the past. I can remember a moment where I was about 17 and I had a boyfriend at the time, tell me that. And it obviously stuck with me because I still remember it. And I think it's still, for all of those years, has impacted my decisions around clothing because I just became this person that would just reject any idea of dressing nice. I hated dressing up. I hated Halloween because I hated dressing up. I didn't understand. I'm like, how do I put an outfit together and do the costume? Like, all of it is connected. We think that all of these different aspects of our life are different, but when you really look internally, like I am and have been the last couple of weeks, I can see how much all of these different elements are all the same fear. It all comes back to me feeling like I'm not competent at this thing called style, at being able to present myself the way that I want to, which of course has an impact on how I then feel about myself. But I pushed myself so far away from that to try and protect myself from having to feel any of those things and convince myself that I was a better person because I wasn't focused on my clothing. Now I am realizing that as I step into this entrepreneurial role, as I step into this version of myself where I am calling in like more confidence, more discernment, more authenticity in who I am and standing up for who I am and really becoming that most authentic version of me, I've realized that this whole part of me has created such a block because when I look at women who are successful, when I look at women who I admire, and I see the way that they show up and the way that they dress and present themselves, I have not one inkling of a thought that they are superficial or shallow. I don't think that at all. I actually have so much admiration and probably some envy for how they are able to put outfits together. I'm like, how do they do that? How do they find these items in the store and how do they put them together and make themselves look so good? To me, it goes way over my head. I don't get it. And the bandwidth that it takes for me to try is so scary that I think there's a part of me that's like, even if I put 100% effort into this, I actually don't know if I would be able to figure it out or if I would just fall on my face and make a fool of myself and look like an idiot who doesn't know how to put themselves together. And like I said at the beginning of this call, I'm getting super vulnerable. This feels crazy to say out loud on a podcast, but if I am working as an identity coach, I have to practice what I preach. And this is such a raw example of this for me, where I'm in the thick of it right now, where I have become aware of it, and now I am moving through, why has that happened? And, coming to the conclusion of, I've made this whole story to protect myself from this fear of failure so that I can accept that part of me, that part of me has been working its ass off to protect me, to keep me safe from these really scary feelings of rejection and judgment. Because as I've spoken about before, I have had this identity of needing to be good at things. And if I'm not good at something, then I don't do it. And so I'm connecting all the dots and I'm seeing how, oh, because I don't feel like I'm good at my style at clothing, I have said that's not something that I do. And as a result, how do I dress? In Lulus and in baggy shirts, in any kind of shirt that my mom has bought for me and or has just like passed down to me that doesn't even necessarily fit me properly, but I just wear because it means it's another piece of clothing that can sit in my closet and I don't have to go out and buy something. I don't have to face the fear of standing at the doorway of a store at the entrance and looking at all the clothing and going, where the hell do I even start? Where do I even begin to find something that's going to look good on me? I don't have any jackets, I don't have accessories, I don't have shoes, I don't have anything. I have, like I said, I have one pair of jeans, I have about 10 t-shirts, I have a few pairs of leggings, I have this sweater and another sweater that doesn't fit me and I have a pair of runners. That's it. Like, I don't have really anything. I mean, I have dresses, I have other things, but like, I don't feel like myself in them. There's a few pieces that I've bought in the last year that have helped me move towards this, but it's more for me this whole story around it, the whole process of putting an outfit together, doing your hair, doing your makeup if you want to do your makeup, wearing the accessories, and just really embodying that feminine energy. And I don't think that for me, it needs to be that I'm going dressing to the nines and wearing 6-inch heels, because I know that's not who I am. I still have an element of, I want to be comfortable. I want to look good, but I still want to be comfortable and not giving my feet long-term issues from wearing heels. So it's this not battle, but it's this trying to find this balance for me between wanting to step into this version of me that respects herself in a way that I show up the way that I see these women that I admire showing up, but also doing it in a way that's authentic to me, where I'm not pushing so far to the other extreme that I lose myself in the process. I am a simple girly. I like things minimal. I like things to be not overstated, but I want to feel good in the clothing that I'm wearing. So, in the last couple of weeks since I have realized this story, I went to the shops, and there's this store that I found a little while ago when I was shopping with my niece, where I tried on a shirt. We both tried on something, and I couldn't believe how good I felt. At the time, my daughter was with us, and she was a little bit rambunctious, as a almost 2-year-old is. So I didn't really have capacity to really try it on and decide to buy it. I was like, you know what, I'll just come back and I'll do this another day. So I left it, but then I went to the shops the other day with my husband and I said, look, I've obviously been talking to him about this realization. I went into the store, tried on a couple of shirts, and the way that my entire energy shifted when I had this shirt on that actually fit me. And you guys, this might sound so silly or simple. Maybe someone can relate to this. Um, the way that I felt my whole energy shift when I put this shirt on was honestly unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I had a hard time even grasping how different I could feel just from wearing a shirt that actually fits. I have been wearing t-shirts that are too big or that I bought when I was freshly postpartum. So obviously my body was different and I was breastfeeding all the time. So my whole chest was different to where I'm at now, almost 2 years postpartum, but still living in those clothes and just feeling like lost, like literally drowning in the clothing that I was wearing. So to have this experience of wearing a shirt that fit felt so incredible. And so I bought 3 of them and I have basically just been rotating between these 3 shirts for the last couple of weeks and feeling so different. And that to me has been a really great piece of evidence that, hey, this story that I have held on to for so long doesn't have to be who I am moving forward, because I am stepping into a new identity. I am shedding so many old layers of myself. I am integrating these old patterns that don't serve me anymore in a way that I am accepting them. I am looking at this part of myself and going, look, I can see why this worked. I can see why this was so helpful for me to get through this, all the stages of late adolescence and even early adulthood where I didn't really know who I was, but I knew that clothing really scared me. So by having this story, I was able to just lean into being the super casual girly that just wore leggings all the time and shorts. and that was who I was. And that got me to this point. And it's so important when you have a realization like this. It is so important to be able to make space for it and allow it to be, because, like I said, it helped me get to the point that I'm at now. I wouldn't be able to move forward into this next realm, into this next version of me without all of these parts. And so that has been such a beautiful part of the last couple of weeks, is really kind of sitting with that part of me and going, yeah, I see you. And look, like, we got this. And we don't actually have to figure it out on our own, which leads me to the next part, which is that my husband actually bought me a package with a stylist about, well, it was at Christmas, so about 6 months ago, and I haven't used it yet. And I have been using the story of, well, my body is changing right now, so I don't want to buy any clothing because my body is changing because I'm losing weight from everything postpartum. And I think part of that, there's something to be said about that you don't want to be just constantly buying clothes and then your body changes and then you have to buy more. I want to be incredibly intentional with any piece that I am bringing into my closet. I don't want to have a huge wardrobe. That is not the point. I am wanting to be very conscious of how I am consuming. But I can also see how this story and this fear of getting it wrong has actually played into this procrastination as well, because I don't want to go to a stylist, spend the time with her, and then somehow buy the wrong things, even with her help. Even with her help, my brain is still like, but you're probably still going to mess it up. And then you're going to get home and you're going to have these pieces and you're not going to like them. And so now I can see that has been why I have put this off. But as you become more aware of the story, of the pattern, you can start to shift it. And so now I'm going to reach out to this stylist and I'm going to start the process. I'm going to start the process of at least finding out what colors are best for me. What are the palettes that I look best in? How am I going to start building this wardrobe? Are there certain pieces that I can start building now? And it doesn't have to be go out and spend thousands of dollars to completely overhaul my wardrobe. But are there little pieces that I can start to bring in over time to kind of bring myself back home to myself? Show myself that I can feel really good in the clothes that I wear and that it doesn't have to be what other people are doing. It doesn't have to fit the mold of someone else that came before me, of these women that I admire. It can be me finding out who I actually am and what my style actually is. And so that feels really beautiful in and of itself. And I'm still honestly, truly in the thick of it. But I wanted to share this experience because we are constantly going to have these moments where we realize some new story about ourselves. And as we do this work, it is the process of being able to be open about it and lean into it. Lean into it and focus your attention on it, because there is where you can make some really big shifts in your life. And I can already feel it happening, because the other thing that I did on the last weekend was I went to the shops again, and I realized I decided that I was going to go buy myself some really nice pajamas from Peter Alexander, which, for those of you that aren't in Australia, it's a really nice pajama store. The whole store is pajamas and they are high end. They are beautiful. And it is a store that I have almost mocked. Not almost, I have mocked since I have moved here. And I have said time and time again, I would never spend money on pajamas. Who would ever spend money on pajamas? That's so overrated. I think I actually made a piece of content about it a couple of months ago where I said that matching PJs are overrated. Just grab a ratty old shirt and a pair of shorts and you're good to go. And I could see now how even that was part of my story of protecting myself from this fear. Because when I went to the store and I got these nice pajamas, and I had bought a pair of pajamas that weren't from Peter Alexander, but like a nice matching set, probably a month ago or maybe a couple of months ago. And every time I wear those pajamas, I feel different. And I've said it to my husband that I'm like, this is weird that I feel different wearing a matching set of PJs. Like, what's going on? But now, since I've had the realization, I can see that it's because there's a part of me that wants to feel good in the clothing that I wear. And that's okay. It's okay to want that. It's okay to have that desire to feel good about yourself. And I have been pushing that away, so far away from me for so long, because I thought I had created this connection with that idea as being someone who was shallow. So I didn't want to be shallow. So of course I'm pushing this thought away. Oh no, I don't care about what I look like. I don't need new clothes. Old clothes are fine. I can just grab one of my husband's t-shirts. And to be fair, I love wearing my husband's t-shirts as pajamas sometimes, Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's also nice to be able to respect yourself and treat yourself and own who you are, and let that be expressed through the clothing that you wear. And this is the journey that I'm going to be on for the next little bit as I figure this out, as I let go of these old beliefs and I step into these new ones. And the way that I'm going to do that is through taking different actions, which is exactly why, after years of mocking people who shopped at Peter Alexander and saying, oh my gosh, how can people possibly justify spending this much money on pajamas? I went to the store, I had a look around, and I bought the bougiest pair of pajamas that I could find. I love them. I have worn them every single night. I mean, they're in the wash now, and I'm already thinking, should I like do the wash so that I could take them out and wear them again? Which is probably an indication that I might need to go and buy another pair. But just the experience of going, hey, it's okay. It's okay to want to feel good in your skin feels so incredibly healing for me and incredibly exciting, because I am building little bits of evidence with the shirts that I bought and now with these pajamas, that I am someone who not only is a deeply feeling and deeply empathetic person and has all of this depth to me, but also can care about how she looks, and also can really allow this to be a focus area, because the woman who I am becoming, this successful business owner and CEO, she is a woman who always puts herself first in terms of making sure that she is taking care of herself and showing up as the woman she wants to be. And she is someone who, when she walks into a room, she owns it. She owns who she is. And I can say that I don't think that my actions have really embodied that when it comes to clothing in the past. And so now that I'm aware of it, I'm shifting it. And I'm going to take you along for the ride. And this is the first reflection piece of this for me. And I'm really excited to share more of this journey, as scary as it feels and as vulnerable as it feels to talk about. It's really important for me to be open and transparent about this because it has been a massive, massive story for me. And it's one that I am rewriting in real time. So, if any of that has resonated with you, if you would like to chat more about anything, if you also have struggled with your style, maybe since becoming a parent, I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me on Instagram. You can leave a comment on this YouTube video, and I would really, really love to connect. Please leave us a review as well if you are loving this content. I am so grateful to be doing this and to be showing up every single week, sometimes more than once a week, because I can't help myself. This journey has been so healing for me, like I mentioned, and I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, whatever it is that you are doing, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.